after 4 weekends of beatings, tear gas, and water cannons on the streets of Paris. French President Emmanuel Macron finally broke his silence.
I wish to quickly intervene in a concrete manner on this topic. I will ask the government and the parliament to take the necessary steps so everyone can live better from the work he or she does.
Macron unveiled new measures in addition to the scrapping of fuel taxes scheduled for next year. He says the minimum wage will go up by around $114 a month, a cost that the state will bear. The government's also scrapping an increase in Social Security payments on pensioners earning $2,270 a month. Macron also says end-of-year bonuses for workers will be tax-free. But he defended a tax break for the wealthy, saying it's key to job creation. The government says the measures will cost more than $11 billion and increase the budget deficit. Some experts say the speech could be a turning point for Macron.
It's the second act of his presidency that started tonight. The only question is whether it was not too late, and still whether it was not too little.
But a day after Macron's speech, protests continued.
Là, pour moi, pour ma part, je suis encore plus en colère.
For me, on my behalf, I'm even more angry because we've been waiting for 4 weeks, waiting for concrete things, and there's nothing. There's nothing. What is it? What is it? It's crumbs.
Macron says his priority is to restore calm across France. He's hoping the new measures are enough to keep his presidency's biggest crisis from getting worse. Paolo Montecillo, TRT World.
And TRT World's editor-at-large, Craig Copetas, joins me now from Paris. Hi, Craig. So we heard there some really significant measures from President Macron, more than $100 a month extra for minimum wage earners, a tax cut for pensioners, among other things. It's quite a turnaround for a man who was set on cutting costs and raising revenue. But is it enough to appease the protesters?
Well, how significant are they really, Oscar? You know, at the same time, his budget deficit is now widened to 3.4% of GDP. Guess what? He's breached EU rules. Stick a fork in European fiscal federalism. It's done. Yeah, he's appeasing the French, but the Europeans aren't going to be happy. He's pulling a mini Greece here. And he has to do it to keep the population happy. They really don't have the money, but they're going to spend it anyway, and they're going to go further into debt to take care of the issue.
It's a good point, because I bet Rome's watching this very closely to see if the EU is going to intervene, because Italy is justifying its big spending budget for the similar reasons, to appease their population. But official figures show that the president's measures could cost up to $11 billion extra in Paris's budget. Can they afford this?
Hey, what's $11 billion between friends, Oscar? They're going to spend what is ever necessary to keep the country going. Macron is in no political danger, despite what you might hear, and his critics. He is president until 2022. He has a supermajority in parliament. He's not going to be impeached. He's not going to be indicted. He's what they got. You know, in a democracy, you get what you deserve, and you deserve what you get. The French people elected Emmanuel Macron, and now they have to live with him.
And they also elected a man who's been dubbed the president for the rich after he scrapped France's wealth tax last year that taxed individuals with assets of more than $1.5 million. Do you think he'd be forced to reconsider reinstating that in light of what's happening?
No, he's not going to do that. He said that last night. And in the real world, $1.5 million is not a lot of money. It is for a lot of us, but in the real world, it's not. The reason he cannot bring that tax back, as he said last night in his speech, when the government instituted that tax, it triggered capital flight. It triggered intellectual flight. People left the country. It all goes back to the fact, Oscar, that there's no growth here. It's about 1%. And there's certainly no growth. You're trying to start an entrepreneurial millennial type venture in France. The French, the Fifth Republic here, the way the economics and the bureaucracy has been set up for centuries is just not tailor-made for that type of growth. And the big fear Macron has is that more and more people will leave this country. He cannot bring that tax back. What he could do is he could up it if you have, say, more than 5 or 10 or 15 million. But 1.5, that's nothing.
Interesting. I guess we'll wait for the weekend to see if these protests resume. Craig Copetas in Paris, thanks as always.